Men are good. Why can't we hate men?
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Women's studies has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Women's studies has got to go. No hate speech on campus. Yeah, well, something made me really happy the other day. There's an article in the Washington Post by, what was her name? Suzanne Walters, I think, who was obviously a feminist, and at the same time she's the director of gender studies at Northeastern University, a representative, of course, of women's studies and feminism. She wrote an article in the Washington Post, and it's called, Why Can't We Hate Men? Man, I saw that title, I said, yes, I'm so glad you put it like that. Why can't we hate men? Because for years and years, many of us have been telling them, look, you guys hate men. You got to cut it out. And every time they say, we don't hate men. We love men. It's just patriarchy. Patriarchy? Are you kidding me? You know, to me, saying I hate patriarchy is like just putting a bag around men and putting a label on it that says patriarchy and then hitting it with a damn hammer, right? We're not hurting men. We're against patriarchy. Bam, bam, bam. Same thing with toxic masculinity. You know, let's put all men in a bag that says toxic masculinity on the outside and just wail away at it. They won't get hurt by that. Now, will they? Ay, ay, ay. Just crazy stuff. So, for years, we've been saying, look, you hate men, stop it. Stop it. We got to work together. You know, if you want to do this thing called equality, we got to respect and love each other. And they were nowhere near that. Well, finally, they've come out and say, we hate men. I mean, in this article, the woman Walters says, it seems logical to hate men. It seems logical to hate men. Can you hear that? She hates men. Unbelievable. You know, for years and years and years and years, we've had this thing called gynocentrism, which is men sacrifice in order to keep women safe and provided for, right? It's worked out pretty well. I mean, you know, we've built a society and things have gone pretty well. And women have benefited from the sacrifice of men for many, many years. But guess what? The last 50 years, women have weaponized gynocentrism. You know, it used to be women say, oh, I'm tied to the tracks, please save me. And the men would come running and help. You know, chivalry, gynocentrism, whatever you want to call it. Men are running to help women who are tied to the tracks. And now they've weaponized this whole advantage they have of gynocentrism. And they're turning it into a weapon against men. We hate men because they've oppressed us. Oppressed us. You know, I've read my great-grandmother's and great-grandfather's diaries, and they were farmers, and they talked about how hard life was. You know, and the father was working out in the field all the time. The mother was busting her buns inside with the kids and taking care of the house and doing this and doing that. But they loved each other. They weren't complaining about being oppressed. They were both working their buns off. Crazy, eh? And I think that, you know, the biggest lie of the 20th century is that women were oppressed. Women were protected. They were protected and provided for. And it was that protection that actually created discrimination against women because they didn't use the banks, they didn't get education in the same way the men did, et cetera, et cetera. But this was not out of oppression and trying to hurt them. It was out of this whole gynocentric idea of helping women. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, so they've weaponized this gynocentric idea and basically used it to extort more stuff for women. Because, you know, when women have said, oh, I need this, I'm hurt, I'm this, I'm that, men will come running. And the same thing's true now with feminism. When feminism asks for anything, look at our legislators. Oh my gosh, what do they do over and over again? They come running and they make a new bill, a new this, a new that. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Gynocentrism, chivalry, whatever you want to call it. It's been crazy. But here we have this beautiful article. And, you know, we could take all day to go through this whole thing because it is chock-filled with hatred. It's just unbelievably chock-filled. But let's just take the very last part. Very last paragraph. And here's what she says. So men, if you really are hashtag with us and would like us to not hate you, okay, wait a minute. Doesn't that sound like extortion to you? If you really are with us and want us to not hate you, to me that sounds like a middle school girl, who's threatening someone, saying, if you want me to not hate you, if you want to be a part of our group, you need to do this, that, and the other, right? So men, if you really are with us and would like us to not hate you for all the millennia of woe you've produced and benefited from, so there's the oppression thing. Men have oppressed women and benefited from that oppression. All those men who died in wars, they benefited from that oppression. I mean, it's just nutty stuff. Absolutely nutty stuff. And here we see it again. Benefited from that oppression. So we'll start again. So men, if you're really with us and would like us to not hate you for all the millennia of woe you've produced and benefited from, start with this. Lean out so we can actually just stand up without being beaten down. Oh boy. The assumption is that the default is that men beat women down. Have you seen much of that? I haven't seen much of that. But here's the extortion. She's saying, if you want us to not hate you, you better do this, that, and the other. And part of that is you better keep from beating us down. And then she says, and pledge to vote for feminist women only. Pledge to vote for feminist women only? Are you kidding me? That's like, there is no Democrat and Republicans. You have to vote one way, our way, or that's it. You're out. That's nutty. That's absolutely insane. I mean, it's like she's saying, it's my way or the highway. This is extortion. This is not equality. This is not communication. This is extortion. It's nutty. Then she says, pledge to vote for feminist women only. Don't run for office. Don't run for office. You can't even run. You can't run for office. Only feminists should be in office. This is what she's saying. So don't run for office. Don't be in charge of anything. She's thinking men should not be in charge of anything. Ay. We've got this. Kind of like Sweden, right? The women were in charge, and how's that been going? Oh, well. So don't be in charge of anything. Step away from the power, she says. We've got this. Yeah. And please know that your crocodile tears won't be wiped away by us anymore. Really. Your crocodile tears won't be wiped away by us anymore. So she's saying, you may have pain, but we're not going to deal with that. Of course, that's typical for men, right? I mean, men have a lot of pain and no one really pays much attention to it, so they have to take care of it themselves. But this woman's coming straight out and saying, if you have tears, don't expect us to do anything for you. Doesn't that sound hateful to you? Boy, it sounds hateful to me. Then here's the kicker. She says, we have every right to hate you. We have every right to hate you. Folks, this is a hate group. There's no question. Now she's saying we have every right to hate you. This is a hate group. Where's the SPLC? They need to be putting these people up and showing that these people are hating other people. They're hating half the population. They're hating men. For crying out loud, we have every right to hate you. You have done us wrong because patriarchy, she says. You have done us wrong because patriarchy. It's long past time to play hard for team feminism and win. If you can't see the hatred in that one paragraph, then you're blind as a bat. Let me tell you something. Women's studies, hey, ho, ho, women's studies has got to go. This is a hateful message they're sending. In fact, women's studies is really out there in the siege on boys, teaching them that being masculine, there's something wrong with it. This is crazy. This is crazy. They're doing this to our boys from kindergarten on now. They're filling them with these messages about toxic masculinity, about how there's something wrong with being male. You need to be more like the girls. This is hate. Feminists and women's studies are hate groups. They need to be defunded now. And if you're a parent and you've got kids going to school, excuse me, if you've got kids going to college, do not send them to any college that has women's studies. If everybody started doing that, And they'd start getting the message that we're not going to put up with this hate any longer. Because it's time. It's time that feminism was outed for what it is. The hatred of men. Same thing with women's studies. Of course, keep in mind that men are good, as are you. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you the next time.